All right, we're ready to go. Latest developments in the messaging market. Yeah, I mean a very general title of a topic. But what we want to the aim is actually to just keep you updated. You know, starting the year here in January in London. Just what's the latest update? So we have a bunch of, let's say, experts here next to me. I'll give them a quick minute to introduce themselves, and yeah, we'll take it from there. And if you want, I would love to keep it interactive. So if you have any questions, whatever, comments, just bump in. All right? You're nicking, but by the end of the session, I will not hear any question from you. Yeah. I'll get you. I'll get you. Anyway, Molly, over to you. You start off. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Molly. I'm a research analyst at Juniper Research, and I've been kind of specialing in research and messaging recently. So I've done quite a few reports on RCS, business messaging, A2P messaging, and conversational AI. And Juniper Research do a lot more research on the wider telecommunications market as well.
Okay, that's very cool because I want to know if you and Mr. Lane see any differences, you know, because he's doing a lot of research as well. But thank you. Great having you, Molly. Thank you. Alex, over to you.
Yes. Hello, everyone. First of all, I'm very happy to be here and share the stage with the professionals in our sector. I can say I'm very huge professional in comparison with the gentleman sitting near of me, but I will try to share maybe some useful information and impacts which can useful all of us. So yeah, I didn't introduce myself. I'm Alexandra and I'm working for Biox as sales and operational director. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, welcome. Good having you. Federico, good morning again.
Yes,
good afternoon.
I'm still Federico as this morning. Still working.
He didn't change. He didn't change.
No. Still working for T Wholesale, the new name of Telecom Global Carrier, which was the old name. I'm responsible there for business development, which is a strategic role. I'm overseeing different verticals that we have from voice and mobile and so on, but also roaming and others.
Thank you so much. Good having you. And now over to Mr. Messaging. The one and only Nick Lane.
Thank you. I'm Nick Lane, Chief Messaging Officer at Mobile Squared. We specialize in all things messaging, and we've recently announced our merger with Kaleido Intelligence. So I'm very excited about that. God, completely thrown me now. We still announced our merger with Kaleido. So they obviously do specialize in roaming and IoT, which means that we've now got most of the telco package available. But yeah, we're looking forward to the discussion.
Okay, thank you very much for being here, and again, congrats on the merger.
Thank you.
Okay, so talking about the latest developments in the messaging. Just do a quick round. Okay, messaging landscape. What do we see? Who wants to start off? Molly.
Sure. So, well, it's quite a big landscape. So I'll start with SMS really. So with SMS recently, we've seen obviously the price being really high, which has been an issue for enterprises, leading to them kind of maybe looking to go to other channels. And also the high fraud again, which is being impacted by this. But fraud is impacting the price of SMS as well. And so we're going to expect enterprises to kind of come away from this channel. But again, if we look at RCS as well, we think that Apple's entrance into the market will be a very key movement. 2025 is going to be the year where Google operators start to get on board with Google. So we don't think that RCS is going to really take off this year. It will actually be next year. We'll start to see this growth in particular. I think at first it's going to be with basic RCS, so that being kind of more transactional messages rather than for rich media or conversational messaging. So that will be where the opportunity is at first from our perspective. And kind of as that ecosystem establishes, we'll then look beyond 2026 for more of that maybe rich media and conversational elements of RCS. But within kind of 5 years, we're expecting SMS to become more of a fallback channel for these other messaging channels that are emerging.
Okay. You agree, Federico? Yeah, you.
I'm with Molly. A couple of things I would like to add. One, RCS is coming. Whether it's there, we don't know yet. To be honest, whether RCS will be a replacement for A2P, we don't know it yet, because it's more cumbersome to set campaigns up and so on, more difficult, not so straightforward. And the obvious one is, although Apple is on board now, you still don't reach all the handsets out there. So this is why there is still a reason for A2P to exist. However, A2P, is endangered from multiple angles, not only RCS, but also on the identity side, which is two-factor authentication, is being replaced by identity APIs. So this is why what we see in our business is that the business is flattening on the one side, and the identity business is picking up. So there is still, hiccups with respect to Camara versus Mobile Connect APIs on the identity side. But I guess over time, it will be a Camara race. Right now, Mobile Connect is more performant. And this is why some of our customers say, hey, we would like to have the old version, the Mobile Connect API of identity. So these are some of the developments we see. There is another development related to do I again talk too much? There's another development that I see, which is a fragmentation of messaging. So you have A2P, you have RCS, RBM, you have OTT channels, and so on. So, and what do you do as a brand now? What do you use? Question mark. And it's yet to be seen how effective these different channels are, depending on the specific group that you are trying to attract.
But as an operator, are you waiting to see what's going to happen, or will you be proactive and tell the people?
We will be proactive. What we're working on, for example, is an aggregation of mobile identity APIs. So because it's not there yet, and we will offer both Mobile Connect and Camara APIs, although some people in our company don't like that. They say, hey, we should focus on Camara. But our approach is simple. As long as one customer wants Mobile Connect APIs, we give our customer Mobile Connect APIs. As simple as that.
Okay. Before I go to Nick, Alex, what kind of trends, dynamic trends do you see, and share it with us?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I also support whatever has been talking right now. Also, I would like to add that we see that the regular SMS started to decrease in comparison with the alternative channels such as WhatsApp and RCS. Because honestly, when I put myself to the place of user, I'm talking as a user now, of course, it's more interesting for me to sort out everything from the one app. I'm talking about the RCS. So when I can book the flight, book the, I don't know, buy the flower, or book the table at the restaurant on the same page without switching to different channels, that's amazing. But I still think that A2P will never die, especially in the emergency market where the main position is still leading. And if RCS can enter that market, it will be a very huge development, I think. Thank you.
Mr. Lane, tell us, what are the trends? What's out there from your point of view?
Okay. So I think from our side, I mean, obviously, what Molly said, we kind of agree overall, obviously. Generally, obviously, numbers are slightly different, but thank you.
There's always a but with one
Always.
T, yeah?
But I think something like SMS, I think when we talk about SMS, we can no longer just say SMS. There's a problem with SMS. There isn't. Domestic, it's pretty stable. So what we're really looking at is international, where the massive problems are. So then you look at the pricing, we put it on LinkedIn the other week, that the average price to terminate an international SMS is now over 10 cents. So it's going up. It's gone up from 6.5 cents since last year. And we all know that the higher you go, the more traffic you lose. So the way of kind of getting more revenues isn't just keep increasing the price, but that's what a lot of companies are doing. So that is obviously driving down the overall market. I think that when you see our new data, which we'll release next week, the international revenues have actually gone up from 2023 to 2024, but that's skewed because obviously changes in price in India.
Exactly.
So if you took that off, then we're on a slippery slope. So you've
We're
got
talking about volumes there, huh?
yeah.
Mm.
Volume, well, yeah, volumes obviously that then obviously translates into revenue. So at the moment everything's skewed. So when that kind of starts adjusting, then you'll start to see, you know, quite a big drop in the international. SMS will decline on domestically on a more gradual basis, but that again is more down to things like identity, RBM, WhatsApp. It depends market by market, it's all different. So you can't lump everything as the same. I think US is going to be the key market for RBM. And I think you've also got to look at the role that the World Cup is going to play in North America next year. So if everyone can get everything, all their eggs in the basket, to get first cliche in, and it's all set up for next year, then you've got the whole world looking at the world of soccer. And you know, and that really is going to be kind of the showcase for RBM, because again, what Alex was saying about having everything on one channel, you can then manage your whole, as a fan, your whole trip, everything, even promotions, apps. So it'd be an amazing experience. And if that is then delivered over RCS, then all of a sudden, you know, you've got the whole world watching. So that is probably going to be the kind of key moment for RCS, the key trigger thing. And then beyond that, identity is very slow. It's the same because obviously you've got all the operators trying to work out what their strategy is, trying to work out what the pricing is. So that's the migration to that is going to be a lot slower than I think a lot of people expect. But yeah, otherwise, I think RCS is okay. It's going to be slow. WhatsApp's growing. It's still probably 3, possibly 4 years ahead. And the last thing is just kind of the Apple impact on RCS. Yes, it's raised the awareness, but it's also added more complexity in the background, which is also probably going to delay certain things. Apart from in the US, where everyone's already signed the Apple agreement. So that's also why I think the US market.
Yeah. Okay. So, okay, for maybe people in the audience who are not that acquainted with RCS, so maybe Molly, you can quickly say a couple of characteristics about, rich messaging.
Okay, so basically RCS is a rich communication channel similar to WhatsApp, except you're sending it via in your native inbox. So like where you receive your SMS messages, you'll receive your RCS messages. And why this is so important is because, I mean, lots of people have smartphones. So we've obviously used to only have Androids that could have this available, but now we've got Apple as well. And this means that we can send rich media messages to a much wider audience with, operators coming on board, and lots more of those will come on board this year. So we'll have a lot more people able to receive rich media into their native inbox than any other channel.
What is it rich about? I mean,
okay, so you can receive
I'm a dummy. Now tell me.
images, video, audio,
in the same message.
within the same channel.
Okay. And what's the benefit from it? I mean, I like my good old SMS. Why should I need RCS, IBM?
Much greater engagement is what people have, observed so far.
Right.
And yeah, that's kind of a very main important thing, because if you get more engagement, I think SMS obviously.
I should be more happy to get more engagement.
Yeah, because they'll have it's much higher value for an enterprise if you're sending rich media messages out and you're getting more people coming back, and it's great. But other features of RCS, obviously you've got it's branded and you have verification status. So brands can be verified, and it means that when a customer receives that message, they know it's from that brand.
Mm-hmm. Okay. How many of you have RCS? How many? One, of course. Mobile squared, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I was coming to that. Thank you. You want? So talking about the commercial, why do we, Nick or Alex, anyone who wants to jump in? Why only 5, 6 people in the house out of 20?
Well, the question is who's got an iPhone, who's got Android, and then
Okay.
who's got RCS on their iPhone. So I've got RCS, but I can't get RBM because I'm on EE, so they haven't signed up yet. So that's part of the problem.
Okay.
So you've got to make that kind
So
of.
that's one
distinction.
restriction. Okay. And why should everybody get this on their phone? Again, tell me. Federico, why should? What is so funky about it?
It's more fun, ideally. You can engage with a brand, you can send them something, there's a conversation going on two-way instead of one-way. So in the end, it's more fun, more visual, more intuitive. And this is, I guess, what Molly refers to, the engagement is higher. And with that, if the involvement is higher, you can, you as a brand, there is a customer, there's a specific customer engagement that you get.
All right. I'm an old bugger, right? I'm one of the last of the Mohicans of the old operator time. Don't laugh, it's not funny. But the thing is, I would say it's more, funky for the 14-year-olds and upwards, 12, 14-year-olds. That's the people to grab, right? Alex?
Well, I don't think so. No. I'm also, how did you say it? Old? No, actually, I think why people choosing this RCS, because it saves time.
How do I save time? I'm a client, or I have a cell phone. How does it save? How does it? I still need to open up a message, right?
Yeah, but just imagine you are at the airport somewhere and you're realizing like half an hour left to your flight and you urgently need to rebook or something, another flight, but you have already booked the table at the restaurant. So it need to be rebooked as well. So you can, with a couple of clicks, you can do it. You can save your time. Well, yeah, I would say. That's my mind. I don't know if Molly may have another ideas.
Come in.
Well,
why is it funky for me?
Well,
why is it funky for them?
It's not funky, is it? It's messaging. It's a platform.
Try to make it funky.
I mean, that's part of the problem, isn't it? SMS isn't sexy. So is RCS going to become sexy? I doubt it. But is it going to target 14-year-olds? Probably not. Mm-hmm. We had a family lunch yesterday, and we were talking about. I sent a message to my daughter, and she never answers on WhatsApp, so I tried it on SMS. I don't even know what that is, and I just get that kind of pays for your life, basically. But that that's kind of it. It's an app. Everything's through an app, and they like Snapchat because they think all the messages disappear. Kids, they don't.
That's where I want to go.
So so it's all about the perception. So that's kind of what they're thinking. But I guess where LCS is going to be brilliant potentially for brand is because they can just shift everything, all their content over from other channels onto RCS, and you keep that user in one platform. It'd be kind of like a poor man's WeChat, in that WeChat is basically the internet out in China now, whereas here, it would still be a messaging channel, but it will be a very powerful messaging channel because ultimately brand spend follows where eyeballs are, and at the moment all the eyeballs are in the messaging channels. So it's just a matter of time. It's not a case of if RCS will take off; it's a matter of when. But it could be very slow, but it will take off at some point because that's where the eyeballs are in terms of messaging.
Mm-hmm. No. I understand. And even pre-COVID, I think COVID, slowed it down. But pre-COVID, I think we were already sort of
slowed it down.
I know. I call it slowed it down. But so it's gonna take off. Is that what we see? Juniper, come on.
Yeah, I think
Tell us,
it will take off. I just don't think it'll be this year. I think we'll start to have brands come on board and they'll they'll start using it for these kind of more basic messages. So your transactional messages like, oh, you've booked a table here, here's a reminder. It'll be that sort of thing more, or if you're
The
getting
boring stuff.
delivery, yeah, it'll be more of that stuff.
The nagging
because-
stuff. People,
Yeah, so I think once brands are kind of familiar with using RCS, maybe more, it will take this year, maybe even next year, and then sometime in the future it will come. They will start using it for this rich media and the conversational side.
Nick?
And that's kind of what I think.
The issue you've got with RCS right now is it depends on the market. So, for example, in Spain, it's a kind of fraud avoidance technique. So you've got a lot of the operators saying, avoid all the spam and fraud on SMS. You want to use this channel instead. So they're moving a lot of
clean up.
utility. Yeah, kind of. But then it just sends a bad message because basically when you talk to a brand, they don't really make the distinction between
course not.
SMS, RCS, WhatsApp. What should we do today? It's messaging. They don't really care. So if you're then saying SMS is fraudulent, you're basically saying messaging is fraudulent, which means that even though there might not be fraud on there, you've got fraud on RCS. So we got a number from basically we worked it out that although RBM itself is in theory fraud free, based on the amount of messages that we believe were sent based on the data we got last year, if you look at P2P RCS spam, of which there's about 4 billion believed to have been sent last year, that accounts for around 10% of total traffic. So if you look at it already,
Huge.
if that's effectively the grey route on RBM. So it's already at 10%. So again, and if you then look at where people want to invest in RBM, it's not really in fraud yet because they kind of think it's clean. It isn't. You've got to look at the RCS side of things and sort that out because also you've got that migration or the evolution from existing messaging platform where there is fraud, and that fraud is obviously moving over. Because if you're taking one-time password traffic from SMS onto RCS or WhatsApp, you're just moving a problem because you've got a lot of fraud associated with that. So you're just moving it from one channel to another. So it's not as if the fraudsters are going to go, oh, we're not. No, it's fine. You go to RCS.
I'll take
We're
the other
staying
train.
here on SMS.
Oh,
That's not happening.
This train is not. I'll take the other train. Right?
Exactly. Yeah, so everyone's got to look at this from a kind of the top level and just kind of think actually we've got to protect end to end across every channel to make sure it stays as clean as possible.
All right. You agree, Alex?
Oh, I totally agree.
You totally agree. Oh, I want to throw some curveballs because I'm still not. Is everybody convinced about RCS? No? Why not?
Why would a brand want to use RCS to communicate with a customer rather than any other forms of media? Do they have a monetary figure in their head per SMS that they feel it's 3 times what it is currently, or where is the benefit to the brand?
Well, one, level of engagement's massive in comparison. So if you think the average open rate of an email is less than 20%, but the actual kind of where someone actually replies is less than 1%. If you then look at SMS is probably between 3 and 5% in terms of people actually replying if there's a call to action. So it's already kind of exponentially higher than that. But RCS is higher still. So you've got that. On top of that, you've got metrics as well. So all of a sudden, you're adding that kind of digital layer of insight onto already, kind of something like SMS, which is obviously the most powerful engagement channel available. So I think that's why. But it comes. You look at direct mail, for example, still used, but everyone knows that you've got a less 0.0x% success rate on that. But again, it's where the eyeballs are as well. Because also, if you think about what your reach is, so RCS in the US has more than doubled once Apple
said yes.
actually gets everything up. Once every user is voted, and also it's worth noting, not everyone's got the software on their phone yet. So it will take at least a year for the majority of iPhone users in the US to update onto the latest software where they'll be able to do RCS and RBM.
Okay. Question answered? Are you sure? I would make it even more tough on these guys. Nasya?
Yes, thank you. Just to add to what Nick just said, because you mentioned about the cost and everything else when it comes to the brands and why would they choose RCS versus the traditional SMS. It's down to the customer experience. The customer experience for RBM RCS is a lot better than SMS. Reason being is it's so interactive, as Nick just mentioned, and it reaches the reachability of the channel and the experience overall and the engagement. So you can make even more by keeping them engaged, and you can do so much. But also the additional layer on top of it, especially for RBM, is the security, because it's certified by Google, it's certified by EE, and so on and so forth. Whoever is that supplier who's underwriting the RBM or RBM more than RCS when it's under certification. So me as a user, when I'm using that channel, yeah, I feel that is more secure. It's less spammy because you have more choices. Now, we all know when it comes to security and all the things around it, it's a question, right? But as an end user, as a brand that's targeting from the overall marketing perspective, when it comes down to it, the engagement level is richer, right? Because you can do carousels, you can do many websites within messaging, which you cannot do with traditional SMS. Sorry, just.
I was just on my way out and Nasya is taking over, which she can, by the way, because she did it more than once. Anyway, I'm going like this. So, any comment on this one, Molly, maybe, or Federico?
I think obviously we're saying a lot about the rich media aspect of RCS, but really I think it will initially be that RCS, those basic messages that will be key, because operators, from what I understand, are offering this basic RCS at a similar price to SMS to encourage people to kind of come across, but you have those additional benefits that it is branded, it's to have that verification. Obviously, I know Nick mentioned a bit about the P2P RCS fraud, and that will obviously be an issue, but the more brands use it, the more the consumers will be educated and know to look out for that brand verification. And so hopefully over time, that will become less of an issue. But I guess we'll see.
Again, it's over time.
Mm.
Okay, cool. So we're all confident. Federico? Well, you see some other challenges?
No, I agree basically that at least there is the potential to become the channel. And the reason that it was also said is that customers can have a trust that the brand is the brand or the sender is the sender. That's not the case so much with A2P. And this is why many consumers just disregard the messages and, swipe them off, and that's it. So the key here is trust, and the key here is interactivity and engagement.
With 10% fraud. Have the trust with 10% fraud.
Well, we don't know how much fraud we will have with RCS yet.
Okay. Okay. Alex, a thing for him. How do you see just quickly pinpointing on the market? How do you see the market reacting? I mean, we're talking about okay, this could be a solution. This is fine. This is rolled out. Everything will be fine. Left and right. Yes, we have some hiccups. Yeah, maybe it's going well. What do you hear from the market, from your clients?
Thank you for this question.
That's why you call me Mr. Kirk.
I think I made a mistake sitting here next to you.
No, but maybe more general. What I would like to understand is RCS, RBM of fancy, nice, cool, everything is good for other people, not so much for me maybe, or just for me. So I want to understand as a client, as a customer, what does it do? And what I want to understand is how much do you discuss with your customers? Do they have questions about RCS, RBM, or what's coming, or the latest developments in the messaging? And what demand do you see?
As I already mentioned, regular A2P is decreasing, but it will not, I think SMS will not die. It's like, everyone's saying voice is dying, voice is dying. No. Okay. It
Who
will
would you
not
send
die.
it to
But
if you're the last person in the world?
it's because, it's because the people have choice. I mean, if you have choice to be more entertained, why not? You can use the RCS. But if the regular SMS is okay for you and you're fine with it, so you will keep on using it. Or you can switch to WhatsApp channel if it works better for you. Again, it's like depends on the country, depends on the region, whoever likes more. So my personal feeling is A2P will not die, but it will share the stage with the alternative channels.
Thank you. Okay, you see, it's not that difficult. It's just easy. No, because I want to understand, and I think that a lot of people would like to understand. Because let's not forget, in a lot of panels we discuss these things or whatever, and everybody's yeah. But by the end of the day, it's not. Do I feel it? And I think that is important, or that's what I want to get out of it, because I'm in this industry and it's probably my last couple of years, but still, I still want to understand what's going on and what's happening and what does it mean for me, right? And I think it's our task. I mean, also in the previous panels we talked about education is always important, even if it's we're not a full house, but still I think you always pick something up from a panel discussion, and my aim is to share as much as possible with you guys out there to see what is new and just to get this understanding.
Well, as an industry, we are terrible at educating people.
We it's the no let me it's
Dreadful.
worse
Than dreadful.
worse. I just had we just had the panel about data centers, and they were telling me, we need to educate the people. Yeah, so do it, tell it, and because by the end of the day, okay, sorry, we wake up, right? What do? If you wake up, I don't want any details, but if you wake up, option A, you make yourself a coffee or tea on the first spot. Option B, you look on your phone. Who looks on his phone? Who's looking at the phone? Don't be shy. Not anymore. You learned. I know, but the majority. I'm chairing actually. I'm chairing that panel session as well, but that's at 12 tonight. No, but I mean, the thing is, by the end of the day, more and more people, they look first on their phone because it's next to your bed, right? Okay, if you want to live in a microwave, then please continue doing that. Put it away. Just put it away. It's more healthier for you. But the thing is, it is becoming a utility, a necessity, like water, like food, like, right? Like power. That's what we need. And but if it's not working or people are nagging about it, so we need to make sure we tell people and we educate people. And yes, Nick, you're absolutely right, because you talk to everybody in the industry since years, and you do your research, and you come with the reports. But by the end of the day, it's always we are the most rubbish industry to educate people, right?
Always relying on the other person.
There you go. Never look into the mirror, look to other people. But luckily we have Juniper, who's telling us how the market will come. So away from the sidestep, and I know this is a complete different panel and people were, preparing different questions, I understand, but I just sometimes want to wake up people and get something out of it. And I hope for the people as well. Anyway, last round, takeaways. So, and scoping maybe a bit the future, what's there to expect? Alexander, if I may start with you, what can we expect? What is your takeaway for the audience?
Should I can you ask the question again, because I'm sure I didn't understand till the end.
What's there to expect? What's out there? What should we look out for? What can we expect in the future? And that was the last question of the list.
All right. Good to know. I'm just trying to understand, like, where was the question? Anyway, thank you. That was a joke. Yeah, that's a good question, but I think each company in our sector need to look into the future and make the necessary steps in order to, let me say, survive. Because just an example, I mean, Biox is 20 years at the market and we are doing voice. And if we still keep on doing voice, most probably tomorrow we will be able to close our company because voice is going down. And in order to survive, we need to add something more, something more, something more. So we switched to SMS. We are launching our CPaaS platform. We are moving to RCS, and we are trying different things to be to alive. I mean, to develop ourselves in terms of market. We are trying to add new sources, using new knowledges. I don't know. Good question. We just need to see to the future and move forward.
Good. Molly, what's out there? What should the audience look for?
So I guess, yes, to kind of really summarize, we'll have SMS declining, but it will increasingly become a fallback channel. And whether it becomes a fallback channel to RCS, where it becomes fallback to WhatsApp, it will really depend on how operators act and try and, educate people about RCS over the next year or so. I think we kind of briefly touched on authentication traffic as well. I think SMS has obviously historically been the authentication channel, but we then talk about APIs, and maybe then we'll have that migration of that traffic to APIs rather than things like WhatsApp or RCS. They will become more key over the next couple of years, and then we'll see SMS just become a fallback channel to a whole range of different use cases.
Okay, thank you. Federico?
Yep. So we, DT, as a company, we're focused on two things. One is RCS, and the other one is on APIs. And we're getting prepared that A2P SMS is replaced by either RCS or for the authentication part by authentication APIs.
Okay. Nick, last famous words. I mean, you started off with already a statement what the future will bring, but maybe you can recap a little bit. But
I think we've got a responsibility to brands to stop taking the piss in terms of high prices. Charging 30 cents to send a message is just crazy and absurd, and it's killing the international marketplace. Obviously, that's not every market, but we've now got about 60, 70 markets where
talk about Indonesia, for instance.
Indonesia.
Nice example, right?
It is a nice example, very good
Small
example.
country, yeah.
But you've now got, so I mean, we looked at rates, and I think there are now over 105 markets above the 10 average rate. It's above the 10 cents. It's crazy. It's not sustainable. That's part of the problem. So I think you've got a responsibility to their brands, but then no one's really doing in the international market. No one's really doing anything to grow it. So that's why it's declining. So all we're trying to do is jostle for the spend from hyperscalers, and there's only a limited amount of hyperscalers, and their share of traffic's dropping because they're looking to go onto alternative channels. So then, so you've got that. So I think, you could still have organic growth, but really, I think certainly on international SMS, it's all about protecting what you have, trying to kind of sustain what you have, because what you've lost, you're not going to get back. So you're not going to see growth anymore in that channel. And then, it's trying to work out where the rich messaging channels lie. What's RCS can take a while. WhatsApp is probably a couple of $1 billion industry now. But again, that's really slow. It is a slow migration. But I think also brands don't really understand what messaging is. I think they're starting to get it, which is why one-time passcodes is now dominating not just international traffic, but domestic traffic as well. But that shouldn't be the means for looking to grow rich messaging, which is basically what it is at the moment. A lot of one-time password is migrating over into WhatsApp and RCS, that is the perfect use case for SMS.
Okay. Thank you so much. I would like to thank you.